All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. When I first heard that Eddie Van Halen had passed away, I wondered to myself, how is Sammy Hagar doing today? And the reason I thought that is because Sammy has been very transparent over the years about his feelings and wanting to make amends with both Eddie and Alex to some degree, but especially Eddie. And now we come to find out that Sammy and Eddie had resolved their differences prior to Eddie's passing. They had made peace with each other. Obviously, the severity of Eddie's illness was something that Eddie requested to be kept under wraps. This was, again, all close to the vest. It had to be driving Sammy crazy that his friend was dying of cancer and so forth, and he couldn't talk about it, but I'm sure he'll talk about it in the future. The relationship between Van Halen's former frontman Sammy Hagar and band leader Eddie Van Halen has been somewhat tempestuous since Hagar bailed on the band in the wake of their occasional shambolic, that's a weird word, 2004 reunion tour. But Hagar has now revealed that the pair reconciled and resolved their issues in recent months, but chose to keep the renewal of their friendship out of the public eye. Eddie and I have been texting, and it's been a love fest since we started communicating earlier this year, Hagar stated in a note passed along to the Howard Stern show. We both agreed not to tell anyone because of all the rumors it would stir up about a reunion, and we both knew that wasn't going to happen. But he also didn't want anyone to know about his health. He stopped responding to me a month ago, and I figured it wasn't good. I reached out one more time last week, and when he didn't respond, I figured it was a matter of time, but it came too soon. So, yeah, that's got to be rough. I mean, the bottom line is Sammy always wanted a relationship with Eddie. He had talked about, hey, let's just go out and hang together. We don't have to do any music. We can just, be friends and so forth. And you kind of juxtapose that with, I'm watching interviews back when Van Halen got together again in 2012, and then again, I think in 2015, with David Lee Roth, and Eddie's out there basically saying, Dave doesn't want to be my friend. And that's crazy. I mean, and look, I'm not trying to bash David Lee Roth in this video, but the point is, Sammy always wanted just to be Eddie's friend at a certain point, where Dave, especially in later years, it became more of a business relationship. Obviously, the feuding between David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen dates back to the very beginning of the band, and how there was this chemistry that, wasn't always suitable for two human beings who are in a rock band, but the chemistry obviously was creative, and it caused creative tension, and Dave pulled the band in one direction and Eddie pulled the band in the other direction. We've heard Dave say all of those early songs, that was me, I arranged, I did this, I did that, I wrote all the songs, and yeah, maybe, but in any event, I think Sammy Hagar comes off to me is a just more humble guy than David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth is the greatest showman on earth, and he's adopted that persona, and he takes it right to the edge, and even in times like this, you think to yourself, well, his response was, it's a wild, strange trip, or something like that. What a wild trip it's been, or something. I don't know. The heartbreak of pretty much everybody was right on their sleeves, you know, all these musicians. Adrian Vandenberg wrote this amazing thing about Eddie Van Halen. And I really respect Adrian Vandenberg, a very underrated guitarist and musician who probably was inspired by Eddie, as were so many other people who got into this business. So I'm really happy that these two guys made amends. I mean, that makes me feel better. Like, physically, I feel better knowing that. And good on Sammy for caring as much as he did over the years, wanting that relationship. And, you know, for whatever reason, it never happened. And like I say to people, you know, if here's a message to certain people who should bury the hatchet. Steve Perry and Neal Schon. Steve Perry, you should bury the hatchet. All right, whatever it was, we know what it was, but you had a relationship with Neal Schon and Jonathan Cain. All right, stuff happened. These lawsuits, this back and forth in that band. To me, life is short, and you need to just, it's water under the bridge, and you need to let it go at a certain point. And we've seen throughout this entire pandemic that people are trying to come together. They're trying to, like, show love and compassion on each other. And then, you know, something like this happens where some would argue the world's greatest guitarist is now gone. And people are just heartbroken by it. Life is short, and you should make the best of it, make the most of it. So, you know, if you got something against your brother or your sister, you should try to resolve it. So, anyway, I'm sure nobody will listen to the last part of this video. And I am kind of throwing that out at Steve Perry, because I think he's one of those guys that dug in and is angry about what happened to him in Journey. And I get that. But, you know, if Sammy can come to terms with things with Eddie, I think that Steve Perry and Neal Schon and Jonathan Cain could probably resolve whatever it is at this point. Everybody's a lot older, and everything is very fragile. Doesn't mean you got to go out on tour or record or do anything. Just be friends. You know, just say, hey, we made great music together. Life is short. I respect what you do. I know there are a lot of irreconcilable personalities out there, because I've met them in my lifetime. And you're just like, yeah, you're talking to me again. I don't want to talk to you, you know. But people see all of this unfold before them, and they realize, you know what, maybe I should love my wife more. Maybe I should look up that old friend that I forgot about. You know, that's what life should be about. It shouldn't be just dominated by social media every second of your day. You know, if you're getting all your vibes from Twitter or Facebook, I would say go for a walk somewhere. Get out of the house. Do something where you get some fresh air and sunshine, and you can really clear your head, because being consumed with this stuff 24/7, and now we've got all these politics and presidential stuff, and it's just, you know, go listen to a great Eddie Van Halen guitar solo. Go listen to Steve Perry and Neal Schon and Jonathan Cain at the height of Journey's success. And I think, you know, you'll feel better. But in any event, I'm sorry I threw that last part in there, but I was thinking of two guys that for some reason just can't reconcile. And I love Steve Perry, but I wish he would reach back and say, you know what, let's just forget about all that and be friends. Imagine if they recorded a song together and raised money for frontline workers and people who lost their jobs and lost their restaurants and all that stuff. I mean, there can be good that happens from it. And of course, you got to drop all the lawsuits and all the fighting over the money. Because at the end of it all, when you die, you can't take it with you anyway. Yeah, you can pass it to your kids and your grandkids, but I don't know. I think life is, it's more important to have good relationships with people and to live your life knowing that you did right. So, in any event, we all struggle with it each day. All right, that's my video. Took a weird twist at the end where I got kind of philosophical, but you know, this Eddie Van Halen thing, it makes you think. Makes you think about life, and I think that's all you can do. You know, you can't bring Eddie back. You can't fix the mistakes he made, but you got to move forward, and you got to try to do better. So that's it. See you soon.